restricted because, later on, because it's still ignored, I'm still an invisible woman. Later, she is rewarded for holding her composure. We dropped the battle. They somehow solve for the invisibility and responsibility for my black female body. And some may write about it. I wonder if we cried when we genuinely felt like doing so, but the judge didn't understand that when we speak, we are literally putting up our own bodies, that we hold up so many tears. No, because nobody gives a damn about the tears of a black woman. The invisibility of my tears, my grief, my very body opens up the justifications for the rapability of me and these proud. The very responsibility is me. This is the war that I am fighting. What is a victim? Blacks have certainly been victimized in this activity, and stating this fact is not a case of playing the victim or singing woe is me. This is a call for justice, seeking redress for the psychological harms made against us. Basically, to try to say that we are an endorsement of suffering, but basically when we say that we are suffering, that's not exactly endorsement of suffering. That's just stating a fucking fact. That is just an asinine argument, and you should reject it on the face. And also, when they try to say that we try to empathize, I try to argue that we are not, and they say that the slave is right. You're right, because huge case for the K, empathetic identification is impossible for those in the black positionality because of the inability to access human suffering. And basically that's what I try to explain when nobody gave a damn tear when I was crying, and they sit over here and they tell me all the time, Sierra, suck it up. So, role of the battle and framework for this debate is who best performs political agency and routes to the creation of womanist emotional consciousness in debate. This is good because we explain with our Jane and Turner evidence that we seek to challenge all forms of oppression. We are challenging the structure and visibility of debate in the debate space against women, especially women of color. Now, you should vote them down because they try to maintain a system of oppression at the point in which they try to reason and say that we shouldn't perform our agency because they have privilege and this is racial comfort. Now, because our affirming is about affirming who we are, I can't affirm who I am if I censor myself for the comfort of others. This is how black women are rendered disposable, and this is how units are monogamous towards evidence. Now, they have no role in the ballot or the framework, and this is bad because they are viewed from nowhere. They said we are talking about whiteness and how whiteness takes people's ideas. Well, shit, you are viewed from nowhere at the point in which you can't even understand why it's important to talk about racial discussion and affirming our lives no matter what white people may do. And all they want to do is suppress racial discussion as per our D'Angelo evidence because they do not focus on combating nihilism or invisibility of black women in debate. Yet we confront psychic violence through our poetry as per our hook evidence to combat the dominant structures in debate. And you see how he tried to say that me being an Asian and the problems of stereotypes, we don't recognize that, but that's results about, and that was reactive because that wasn't in the 1AC. I didn't deny that he was Asian. He did by erasing his own identity for racial comfort because it was comfortable. They say they are fighting racism, but they don't even start it in their first speech, but they get to recenter their dominance and perpetuate the notion of racial comfort. And our Gilborn evidence, which says censoring the issues of whiteness is too broad to address alone. There must be a multifaceted approach to attack both supremacy and whiteness. Gilborn 06. Most white people will probably be surprised by the idea of a white world. They see only the world as whiteness and is invisible to them because of the racialized nature of politics, policing, education, and every other sphere of public life so deeply ingrained that it becomes normalized, unmarked, and taken for granted. This is an exercise of power that goes beyond the notions of white privilege. It can only be adequately understood by through a language of power and domination. The issue goes beyond privilege. It's about supremacy, and basically they maintain the structure of supremacy when they sit over here and take, okay, it's not about color, it's not about this, and I'm white, and he sits over here and he brings up in his speech, he's talking about, I'm white, so that's me performing. No, fuck it, it's not all about color. We talk about what our Jane Turner evidence is that it's not just about color. When I talk about my son and how he has to fight against the oppression, 3 consciousness, double, triple consciousness, because he has to deal with patriarchy, he has to deal with being black, and he has to deal with ableism. That is not just about color. Your freaking political agency is just not about your race. It's about your personal politics. Okay? They try to say that we are the black-white binary. That's non-unique. First of all, black-white binary is in the status quo.
It's inevitable.
It's inevitable.
Anytime
black people always talk about themselves, we're always going to be the black-white binary. And 2, no impact. The exclusion claims that they make are not caused by our action and methodology. We create the possibility of free space to be utilized to challenge oppression faced by all of us. And 3, our impact outweighs extend modern towards that explains the black violence, the foreground of killability, rapeability, the logic exploitation for other races that they claim that we exclude. And 4, they perpetuate the new binary and supporting these black people with the criticism.
Sarah, get to the perm.
Oh, perm, mutation. We are not mutually exclusive to the perm.
That's the overview. That's not.
Okay, we are not mutually exclusive to the perm. That's why they try to say that we are whiteness and this doesn't make sense. We don't endorse the politics of suffering. We also talk about love and affirmation of ourselves to escape nihilism as per our West Side.
If perming is a strategy of whiteness, then their 1C strategy is whiteness too.
If perming is a strategy of whiteness, their 1C evidence is a form of whiteness.
It's strategic in debate.
It's strategic in debate. And basically our visibility arguments and not identity politics being marginalized debate grounds is much deeper than this. Basically, you got to deal about, we are not, I want to read this because this is great. Okay, now absent our framework of methodology, structural class ceiling of invisibility destroys the recognition of black women's value to life. This makes the impact to all the arguments not unique. Structural invisibility is a prerequisite to agency. Okay, since identity markers of gender and sex and race comes before the way in which categories are socially constructed, we are the only team controlling the uniqueness of how nihilism gets redeployed throughout debate in society. This is a sequencing question. If nihilism destroys black women's agency as well as all value in life, then our framework comes prior to weighing any other disasters status quo. If the negative can't solve our terminal impact, then the judge should reevaluate the ongoing structural violence against black women as the biggest impact in Brown. We do not link to the liberalism, co-option, disad, basically, and that's unimportant because
you need to read the front.
Okay, and our framework, I got the framework at the top, girl.
Extend the West card and nihilism.
I got that already.
Okay, and no, those are.
Okay, no link for the compassion. We don't ask for compassion in this round, and we can't even get it anyway for empathy. No link fungible slave suffering other. We affirm our black mother. And no link in the performance. We're not using our performance as a mode of resistance. We are not victims. We are survivors.
633.